Hi friends, what's up? In this class, we are going to discuss how we can create a voting system inside PHP. So in our last two classes, we have created projects like converter and a simple calculator. So this Notepad++, I'm just going to insert the basic structure of HTML. So this is the basic structure. Voting system in PHP is just the title. Save this inside just computer, C drive, and XAMPP folder, htdocs, PHP files. You have another folder by the name of voting. You are going to save this inside here just by giving the name index.php. Very simple. Save this. So you can just create a new file from here or press the shortcut Ctrl+N. Just this is CSS file, and save this inside the same folder, voting, by giving style.css. Style.css is the name, and you can just link this file here inside this. So just link attribute or link tag rel is equal to, just you can say for CSS you are using style sheet, href is equal to something like what was the name, style.css, style.css. Very simple. Close. Let's check it's working or not. Body, just background color should be something like sky blue. Save this, go to your browser, just come here and write localhost php files /voting. So it's working. You can see the background is blue. It means it's working here. I'm just going to remove this sky blue from here and save this. Now you can just come here and refresh. There is no background. So for creating just a voting system, at first you need to just create a form start and form close. Inside the form you have attribute like action attribute is equal to, you can say index.php, the name of this file, and method we are going to use is post method. Post, and the alignment of this form should be something like you can say put center. Very simple. Control S. So no changes here. Inside this you can just insert some image tag, image source equals sign double quotation and close. You can just define the width of your images directly from here. For example, 280 is the width, and the height is just something like what should 250 pixel. And you can just see here, I want to just show you something here inside C drive, XAMPP folder, htdocs, PHP files, voting. Inside voting folder we have another folder, this is called images. Inside this we have three images that we are going to use here. The first one is Drogba, Messi, Ronaldo. So inside PHP files you have voting, and inside voting you have images. So you need to just write here the name of folder, images, / and the first image is messi.jpg. So you can just duplicate this two more times just by pressing Ctrl+D. This one is just Drogba. Third one is just Ronaldo. Save this, go to your browser, refresh. So you can see we have three images here. Now we are going to use some CSS. For body we are just going to use the margin only for just 0, padding the same 0. Very simple. Control S, press F5 to refresh. So you can see there is no margin, default margin. After that you can just create .contai.container here. Just so you can say the width of this container should be just 1000 px, and the background for this should be something like sky blue, and margin for this should be margin 0 and auto, and padding should be something like 10 px of padding. So you need to just add this container here. Div tag class is equal to, you can say just something like containers, UNTINER container, and close after the div tag after the form tag. Save this. Now come here and refresh. So you can see we have just 1000 pixel width and the background is sky blue. This is just the width and just the formatting of container that we have used here. After this container we have just image tag here. Now we are going to just give some style for this. So for image, just directly write image inside CSS. So you can just use here border dash radius. I'm just going to just round the corner of these images. I want to just make round. So for that we are using border radius for something like 150 px, or you can just use here 60 px. Let's check. So you can see the borders are round, so you can just use something like 150. It's better. Control S, refresh. Now you can see. So you can just use padding also here. Padding something like not padding, border. We are going to use border here. Border for px solid white border. Save this, refresh. So you can see we have a border here, and you can just use image img hover on this image when you're just moving your mouse cursor on the image. So in that case the background color should be orange, orange, orange. Save this, come here and refresh. So you must give some padding here. I think padding something like 5 px. Save this and refresh. Now you can see it's just looking like this. So here inside HTML, before this div, I'm just going to create another div start and div close. Inside this div I'm just going to use a heading to start, heading to close. Writing just vote for your favorite player. Very simple, vote for your favorite player. So inside this I'm just going to use CSS inline. style is equal to just double quotation. So the background backgr background should be totally black color. Text color should be white. Text color should be white, and text align you can use here. Text dash align center. Text align center. The width of this should be something like 100%. I'm just giving. And padding something like 7 px. Let's save what we have. What's the result? Refresh. So you can see vote for your favorite player. This is just the heading that we have used here. So you can just give font family also here. For example, font dash family, something like, you can say Comic Sans MS. I just know the name of this font, so I'm just using here. So you can see vote for your favorite player. You can just give underline also. For example, text decoration, text dash decoration, underline, text decoration, underline. Save this, refresh. Now this is underline, but this is just not looking good. That's why I'm just going to remove this. Save once again and refresh. So what can you do else? You can just create you can just copy this div from here, Control C, and paste after this div here, Control V. Simply I'm just writing here, for example, created by Abdul Wahid from www.wahidacademy.com, just something like this. Created by Abdul Wahid from wahidacademy.com. So you can just save this, come here and refresh. So this just the interface. Now we need to add some buttons here. Vote for Messi, vote for Drogba, Ronaldo, whatever. So for creating the buttons, just come here inside this, just use here input, the type is equal to, you can say submit, the name is equal to, I'm just giving the name, the first one is Messi, and after that what can you add? Value, the text which will be written on the button. For example, vote for Messi, close, control 2 more time. This one is just Drogba, this one is just Ronaldo, and vote for Drogba, Messi, Ronaldo. Very, control S to save. Now come here and refresh, so you can see vote for Messi, for Drogba, for Ronaldo. So you can just what can you do? You can name, and you can just select this input tag directly here. This input tag, you can see input tag. Inside CSS, just write here input and open curly braces. So I'm just using margin left, something like 80 px. Let's check. Control S, refresh, and not 80 px, just I'm doing this 150 px. Let's check. Control S and refresh. So what can you do? Not just using margin here, I'm just giving some margin, only margin, something like 18 px, and save this, refresh. And you can use here inside HTML after this input tag by pressing shift and 7 to insert this end NB, and after that ASP and semicolon. Just copy this, Control C and Control V, you can just paste here for just creating space between these two elements. Control S. Now just save and refresh. So if you just copy this all, Control C, paste after the second input also, save and refresh. So you can see vote for Messi, vote for Drogba, vote for Ronaldo. This just looking great. So for this video it's enough. In next class we'll come back, we'll just this is just the interface that we have created. In next class we'll come back, we will use some PHP to just make it dynamic. So till next class, have a nice time and see you.